Welcome back, folks. I'm Frizz, and today we need to talk about focus points. They're a brand new system for Pathfinder 2e, I believe, and they are amazing. If you want to play a character who can use some magic all day long, then focus points are where it's at. For people new to 2e, let's talk about how focus points function real quick. Focus points are a special resource that can be used to cast focus spells, with every focus spell costing a single focus point, and you can have up to a maximum of 3 focus points in your pool. You get focus points back by refocusing for 10 minutes outside of combat, though you can only get 1 focus point back, and you can't refocus until you cast again. This means that until you get feats that improve refocusing, if you have a maximum focus pool of 2, and then you cast Lay on Hands twice, you can only ever have 1 focus point maximum in your pool for the rest of the day, just based on how refocusing works. Also, all focus spells automatically heighten in power, meaning that they're very likely to stay relevant as you level up. Alright, now that Focus Points 101 is out of the way, let's talk about how amazing this system is. See, Focus Points allow for most classes that are remotely magical to have access to scaling magical powers that they can use in practically every fight during the day. And this allows for true spellcasters to rely on something else so they don't run through all of their spell slots in only a couple of fights. Some classes like Oracles and Psychics actually revolve around their focus points and focus spells, which can encourage some very interesting playstyles. Now, I feel like I should justify the title of this video, since raw power-wise, focus spells are not going to overshadow or just be more powerful than traditional spells. Rather, they stay competitive when compared to high-level spells of your level. So a 4th level focus spell, or one that has been heightened to 4th level, is best compared to a 3rd level or a 4th level spell slot, because those are the highest level spells that you can cast at a level where you are casting a 4th level focus spell. It's never going to be strictly better, but it's not going to be useless. Basically, focus spells are always going to be relevant, and they're just good. If you get a blasting focus spell, it's always going to be decent. It's never going to be overpowered, but it will keep up with all of the other tools that you get. Part of the reason why I love focus points so much is because of their potential. Small bursts of magic that you can use all day long is my kind of spellcaster, and there's so much more room for new classes in the system that utilize it. For example, imagine a class that started with a single focus spell, and they get a focus point back whenever they critically hit someone, so long as they only used focus spells from their class. That way they could get a recharging focus point mid-combat to power up their own magical abilities. To me, that sounds like a super fun and dynamic class, though whether or not it actually be balanced is entirely up in the air because I threw this together over the course of like 2 minutes. There's just so much room for interesting designs in the system left to explore, and focus points are a big part of that in my opinion. Another important part of focus points is that it explains away a little bit of a problem that I've had with spellcasters previously, which is, how do you explain powerful spellcasters running out of magic? Like, you're a powerful wizard who shapes reality to their will, and then they can just run dry. At least with focus points, they can still cast pretty powerful magic for the rest of the day after they run out of spell slots, which also means that they can use focus points to extend how often they have their spell slots during a fight, because rather than casting a spell slot spell, they can just cast a focus spell instead. Finally, I think that focus points really help out classes that weren't expressly magical, but had some magical stuff going on. Like, seriously, a monk's key abilities being tied to focus spells now, instead of a separate resource to track, is so much more natural, and it allows for key powers to actually be a lot stronger, since you're only going to be able to use them maybe once or twice during a fight. Also, Paladins and Rangers losing traditional spellcasting in exchange for focus spells just makes more sense to me personally. Spellcasting was never a core part of those classes in my opinion, and now they can get focus spells that are specifically designed to gel with the rest of the class both mechanically and thematically. Seriously, the litany focus spells? in a champion are incredibly cool. I guess what it ultimately comes down to is that focus points simplified some parts of spellcasting while allowing for spellcasting to last all day long, and focus points do their job very, very well. Thanks for watching. Focus points are super fun to use, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of classes Paizo puts out in the future that uses them. That class concept that I threw out is one that I'd love to see, but I'm a bit of a sucker for the first edition swashbuckler, so that's no surprise. Getting a resource back on crits is just really cool. What do you guys think about focus points and focus spells? Do you think that it's an improvement over previous editions? Let me know in a comment down below. And regardless, until I see you next, live a wonderful life.